Good morning guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today is not going to be a very happy video, but this is my reality and something that I'm going through, and I just want to be transparent about it. But before I get into the video, I do want to add in a disclaimer. I am going to be talking about substance abuse in this video and grief. So I just want to let you know that before we get into the video. My mom passed away this year, May 31st of this year, and I have dreaded making this video and wondered if I even wanted to make this video, but I'm going to be referencing what I'm going through right now so much in my future videos that it's like I almost have to just rip the band-aid off and get it out, you know what I mean? So you're probably wondering, was it expected, was it unexpected? And it's a little bit of both. My mom has struggled with substance abuse for the majority of my life, unfortunately. Before she began to struggle with substance abuse, she was the most wonderful human being I had ever met. I looked up to her tremendously. I wanted to be just like her. My mom would light up a room. Her laugh was contagious. She was just very likable, funny, lighthearted. She owned her own business. She was successful. She had the most beautiful golden hair. She would take me to Florida all the time, and I was basically her world. My dad left the picture when I was a baby, so it was just me, my mom, and my grandparents and other family members. I feel like her addiction may have been going on a lot longer than I am aware of, but from my recollection, for me, I got to an age, I think I was about 10 when I started to realize something's going on with my mom. There's a problem going on. Watched my mom go from the most wonderful person I'd ever met to becoming someone that I almost didn't know, if that makes sense. My mom has struggled with alcohol tremendously. Last year, my mom was in and out of the hospital countless times for just different things. She ended up getting a lot of health issues and stuff, obviously. Last year, she fell and she got bleeding in her brain, and it was really bad, and I actually think that scared her. She went into a home and she had like around the clock monitoring, and she wasn't allowed to drink alcohol or anything. So she was sober for a long period of time. I'd say probably a year. And then May of this year, when she would send me voice messages and stuff, I could just tell that she wasn't sober. I know my mom, and as soon as she would speak to me, I would know if she was on one or if she wasn't. May comes around and I get a phone call, and it's my family telling me, your mom's in the hospital. And I kid you not, I knew from the moment someone told me, I think it was my granddad, told me that my mom was in the hospital, I knew that this was it. It was almost as if God told me that my mom was going to pass away. Like, I just knew. I just knew. She went into the hospital. She had sepsis, cirrhosis of the liver, pneumonia, some kind of infection in her blood. And I looked at my husband and I said, Jesse, this is it. I just know it. My husband's like, no, your mom is tough as they come. She's going to be fine. She's going to get through this, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, Jesse, I just know. And I told my best friend, Mariah, I'm like, Mariah, I just know this time. I just knew. And I really, really feel like God told me to prepare me. And I think my other family members knew as well that this time was different. So I'm constantly calling the hospital, trying to get updates and stuff. I'm like, listen, I'm really far away and I'm really worried. And, you know, I'm calling my mom and FaceTiming her and trying to just see her because I'm so far away. It's the most horrendous feeling, being so far away from people that you love and knowing something that traumatic is happening. I mean, you're completely helpless. It's horrible. They gave my mom 24 hours to see if she responded to the antibiotics. At this point, she can't breathe on her own. She's on a big breathing machine. She's got this big mask on. She can't breathe by herself. And the doctor said, I'm going to give her 24 hours, see if she responds to treatment. The next day, she had responded to treatment mildly, they said that night. So they were going to give her another 24 hours. After those 24 hours, they said that there isn't anything else that they can do. And a call from my granddad, I will never forget it. And he said, Roxanne, they are taking your mum's mask off. And I said, is there anything else they can do? And my granddad said, no. And by this point, her internal organs and stuff had started shutting down. So I said, well, call me. I want to be on FaceTime with her. And I want her to feel like I'm in the room. So a vision I will never get out of my mind is my uncle, who I'm extremely close to, my Uncle Tom, my mom's brother, called me like with FaceTime like this with my mom, and he said, Roxanne, they've taken a mask off and someone might think it's very strange that I would want to be on FaceTime with my mom as she passed away. But since I couldn't be in the room with her, I felt like I still had to be there in my soul. All of my family members were in that room suffering, and I could not help but I had to suffer with them. I had to be there with them. I couldn't say, just call me when it's over. I had to be there with them. And I still to this day regret not going. My family advised me and said, don't come because you're going to have to come once she passes away and deal with all of her things and all of her stuff and come to the funeral and whatnot. So just wait for that. But I regret that. I regret that when God let me know that my mom was going to pass away, I should have gone right away. And I was in a pickle because my boys didn't have passports, and it was just, she didn't have a funeral till 3 weeks after she passed away, and it was just this whole thing, and I didn't want to be away from my kids that long, and it was just, I just feel like I should have been in the room with her, and it haunts me to this day that I wasn't. It really haunts me that I went in that room, because I know that she would have wanted me there. So I was on FaceTime with her anyway as she passed. And I pray to God that he let her hear my voice. I wreck my brain asking myself, could she hear me? Like, could she hear my voice? Did she know I was there, you know? Or was she thinking, where's my daughter? I just don't know. I've gone around and around this in my head for so many times. It could have been a very long drawn out process. My mom passing away, and it wasn't. She was gone within a matter of minutes. She had family surrounding her, and I had them playing her favourite songs. We had Amazing Grace on and Celine Dion and things my mom loved. I have 2 aunts that are believers, and I called them when I knew that she was going to go, and I said, go to the hospital and please pray with my mom and play worship music for her and stuff, and they did. And they said that they asked her if she would accept Christ, and that she nodded her head and that she responded. This isn't the only time that I've ministered to my mom. I've taken my mom to revivals, I've sent her Bibles, all kinds of stuff. My mom struggled tremendously throughout her life. She didn't have a very good quality of life. She couldn't fight the addiction, and I offered multiple times for her to come and live in America with me and my kids and my husband, and you know, she'd have wanted for nothing. I just wanted her to be a part of my life and a part of my kids' life. I just wanted her to be my mom. But I think she almost forgot to be my mom, because she was just fighting a really hard battle. And I have nothing but love and compassion for her. When you grow up with a parent that hurts you tremendously, by just not being there the way that you need them to be, it's so easy to get wrapped up in anger and things like that. I don't have any anger towards my mom. All I have is love and compassion. That's it. That's all I hold room for in my heart, is love and compassion for my mom. When I saw my mother laying in that bed, taking her last breath, all I saw was a human being that was very tired and exhausted, and someone that had been fighting a battle for a really, really long time, and that was ready to go home and be with the Lord and be at peace. And I believe that my mom is now at peace, and she is relieved, and I believe that she's watching over me now and my kids. And that's what I believe. She's healed, and I believe that she is free from the chains that kept her weighed down for so long. I think about her every day, every single day. If you are someone right now that's going through grief, I'm so sorry. But you're not alone. I see you, and God absolutely sees you. Even Jesus wept. I used to hear people say, before I ever experienced grief comes in waves. Now I understand what that means. You can be completely fine and feeling like, oh, I'm dealing with this okay, I'm doing pretty good. And then it'll hit you out of nowhere. You'll hear a song, or they'll just pop into your mind or something, and then you're like, oh my gosh. And then you're heartbroken again. Oh my gosh, my mom isn't here anymore, she's passed away, and how do I even come to terms with that? And it's like my brain almost cannot fathom the fact that my mom is not on this earth plane anymore. She isn't in this reality, in this existence anymore. And my brain has a hard time processing that, how we can all be here and then we're not. It's very complex. I went home for the funeral. I went home by myself. It was the hardest time of my life, flying across the world without my husband and without my children. And we couldn't all go because it would have been about $10,000 for all of us to fly over there. And it was a very morbid trip. I cried the entire flight. I cried the entire way. The woman on the plane next to me was probably like, oh my goodness, is this lady okay? But I just wept the whole time. Like, I'm literally on a plane right now going to my mother's funeral, and I'm on my own, and it was just brutal. You immediately go from grief to planning a funeral and thinking about everything else that goes along with it, and it's just a very strange thing. My mom's ashes are here with me now. They're in my home. Haven't decided whether I'm going to scatter them or keep them yet. But she's here in America with me and my family, which is where I know deep down she wanted to be anyway. Just something that I've been going through, guys. I'm still going through it. I'm 6 months in, and I still have really hard times. But I have some really amazing people around me. My best friend has been my rock, Mariah. My husband has been my rock. He really helped when she passed away and just stepped up and took care of the kids and everything, and took care of them while I was away. But it's a process, and I'm praying my way through it and trusting that God is helping me through it and strengthening me through it. Speaking of strength, one thing I will say about losing my mom is I feel like I am so much stronger of a person, And I can't really put that into words very well right now, but I can feel it. I can feel the strength just building within me from going through something so traumatic. It is making me a stronger woman. And I know that that's God. He's feel God strengthening me through this. My mom wasn't the best mom. I've had to be my own mom for the majority of my life, which really sucks. But I loved her so much, so much. The good times we had together were so good. And the times that I did get to connect with her and speak to her and she came to visit and stuff, now I look back and just cherish them. And my heart is broken that she didn't get to live a longer life. She passed away at 56. She could have had a great life over here with me and my family, but you just can't force someone to change. And I'm trying to make peace with that. But I loved my mom. I loved my mom very much. And I always will. And I forgive her, and, you know, she was just struggling, fighting a battle. And this, guys, is one of the reasons why I don't drink. People will say to me all the time if I'm in a group setting or whatever, you don't drink? And they'll go, you mean like at all? And I'm like, no, I don't drink. I quit drinking years ago. I'd have a random drink here and there, but I quit drinking years ago because of everything that I went through as a child with my mum. It was just a lot. Even in the midst of all this, though, I still believe that God is good, and I'm looking to him for strength and for help through this. But I'm doing okay. It's just a process. Grief is just a process. So I'm not going to say I hope you enjoyed this video, because I know how heavy it was, but I just had to get it out because I am going to be referencing it throughout my other videos. So thank you for watching this video, guys, and I will see you in my next one. God bless you. And if you are someone that is struggling with grief or anything like that right now, leave me a comment down below and I will absolutely pray for you. And if you also are someone that is struggling with alcohol, I have left a alcohol helpline in the description, so you can go and check that out. I'll see you in my next one. God bless. Ooh.